What's up? What's up?
Hello orchid fans, what's up? Welcome back to my channel, it's Gintari here. And today we'll look at these two orchids which I've got back in June 2022, so 9 months ago. I got them from the Dark Orchid, and I will link the video below of the unboxing of these two plants. And I haven't repotted them since then. When I got them in these pots, I left them as they are. Yeah, I thought I'll just kind of see how they go. As you can see, they're two tiny seedlings. So let's do an update on these two orchids, and also let's repot them and see what's in the pots. So we'll do this one first. This is Rhynchostylis Pereira Bangkok Sunset. The flowers of this orchid are meant to be very pretty, but it's going to take a while until this one blooms because it's such a tiny orchid. When I got it, I will put some footage here as well of the unboxing so you can see. But if I remember right, I think you only had 2 leaves, and just, the third leaf was just the tip of it, kind of just starting to grow. And currently we've now got this leaf has matured, and we've got a 4th leaf coming out. And as you can see, it's already fairly big. So I think it's doing quite well. One thing that it wasn't really keen on is roots, but it's grown this root, which now stopped and is fully aerial, and it started growing another root here at the base. And as you can see, it's gonna start going into the media soon. So this was basically the main reason why I decided to repot this orchid, because I want this root to go into a fresh media. So this media here, it had some moss, as you can see in there. But yeah, I think it's quite tired now. The bark is really dark. And this is what we've got in the root department. So let's have a look. So these roots here, they're actually still solid. And although they look like they're actually rotten at the top, and I actually thought that all these roots are gone because of that, but they seem to be okay down below, so I will leave them. And then my Bangkok Sunset, so this is like a primary hybrid Phalaenopsis basically. I had one before, a different kind of hybrid, but basically, again, like a novelty hybrid, summer blooming fowl. So that one died. It had a crown rot and it just is gone. So I got this one, and again, I kind of hesitated to repot it. At first I was thinking to maybe push it, deeper in the pot, because you can see it's quite away from the media, but actually it's worked really well. Look at all these roots. I actually didn't realize myself these roots are so good, because when I water my plants, I don't take them out of the, of these decorative pots. So, I don't look at the roots all the time. And yeah, they're massive. They're looking really good. And then I've got this aerial root as well, which is active at the moment, so it's still growing. When I got this orchid, I think, again, I'll put some footage of the unboxing, but if I remember correctly, I think it had either 2 or 3 leaves. I want to say it had 3 leaves, and then it grew this one. So this leaf, you can see, is actually quite big, but it's narrower than the others, I think. But it's grown this leaf kind of, quite a while ago, and it's not growing any more leaves at the moment. So I don't know if it's just, wanting to grow more roots right now, or if it's maybe not getting enough light or what. But, it's a seedling, so it's doing its own thing. I'm just happy that it's healthy, it's not rotting, it looks really nice and healthy. All 4 leaves look really good. So this one is going to be more tricky to take out of the pot because this root came through the hole through the bottom. I probably won't be able to save it. So if I want, I'll just have to cut it. What I noticed, sometimes I used to either cut the pots or try and kind of work this, these roots out of the pots or through the holes. But most of the time what happens while you do it, it still damages the root enough for it to kind of just rot away and go away. So it seems to have come through. So we'll see if it's what it does after the repot. But I'll keep it. It looks okay. It doesn't look like it's damaged much, so we should be fine. But goodness me, that's a lot of roots. I did not realize it has such a good root system. So I'm happy I'm repotting it now because it's still got some active root tips. And, this bark is quite tired. It has some moss in here as well. So, yeah. I'm trying to also kind of think of what I'm going to repot them into. It's definitely going to be bark, but I wonder if I should put any moss or maybe some ceramis instead of moss. But yeah, I'm not sure because they're obviously used to having moss. So they might like to still get some moss in the mix. So I'll clean this up and I'll come back with some media and we can get them potted. Okay, so I've got my media ready here and let's get them repotted. I brought some bigger pots for the fall. I don't know if it's going to go back into a 6cm pot, but I think this one will be okay in a 6cm pot. It doesn't really have that many roots, so I think this will do. So let's pot this one up first. So I brought some, this is ceramis mixed with, this is basically like aquarium stones. They're quite small. So I started using this for crocking basically. Because this is inorganic, when I water my plants, I normally leave some water at the bottom. Yeah, I used to, and I still sometimes do, I sometimes put leca at the bottom because again, this is, it's inorganic media. So if there is any water left, at the base of the pot, then the media is basically not rotting in there. But yeah, I started using this mix recently because this one keeps, it's basically kind of wicking moisture better than leca. I might have the wrong leca, I don't know. But this seems to kind of hold on to moisture better. So I find it's actually quite good to have this at the bottom of the pot. Just kind of keeps the humidity in the pot more or longer. And then for potting this, so I did bring some moss as well. It's dried moss, so I'm thinking to just put a few, I've got a bowl here. Maybe just put a couple strands and spray them with water. And you can mix some into these pots because, I mean, obviously these are now used to having some moss, so I'll maybe add some in. So I'll put some bark at the bottom first. Let's see, is that still gonna go in? So I feel like this bark is quite big for a small pot, but we'll make it work. Okay, so this will sit nicely. I will leave this root as an aerial root. I won't try and kind of put it in the pot. It can stay as is. There is nothing wrong with that. It does have enough roots in the pot, and we've got this new one growing, so it will do fine. So I'm just putting a few pieces of moss and just trying to spread them in that little pot. And then I'll put bark on top again. I found that, I mean, I don't really grow vandas, so I don't know about vandas, but from what I've heard, they are kind of, you know, appreciating wet dry cycles. Whereas Renanthras, I mean, I've only got one again, so I'm not a specialist, but the one that I've got seems to really enjoy kind of moisture and water, so it doesn't really want to stay dry at all. I try to kind of keep it, you know, always watered. I don't let the pot fully dry out. And this one is a mix between Renanthra and Vanda, so it's an interesting one, you know. So I'm kind of, you know, trying to find a balance basically between should I keep it wet all the time? Well, not wet, but, you know, not letting it dry out, or should I give it proper wet dry cycles? So I'm kind of just playing with it and just checking, you know, how it goes. So here it is repotted. So you can see that bottom layer of ceramis and then some bark. All the moss that I've put in is probably more or less hidden inside the pot, so that's great. So let's put the tag back in. I'll maybe put it here, like that. And it can go back in the pot, and then I'll get it watered, and that's this one sorted out. So let's do the Phalaenopsis. I don't think I actually told you what is the name of this Phalaenopsis, so let's have a look at the tag. It's a massive name. Don't know if you'll be able to read it from here. It's Phalaenopsis Steinschenfly Eagle cross with Germain Vincent Variation Blue. So here is the name. I'll put the name on the screen so you can see it, because I don't think the camera is focusing on that. So let's have a look at this pot. I feel like this is just way too small for this orchid now. I don't know if I'll be able to fit all of these roots in here. I'm trying to twist the pot slightly to see if I can kind of cram it in there, but honestly it's not wanting to go in. So I think I'll maybe just put it in the 9 centimeter pot, which kind of almost seems too big for it, but look at the roots. The roots are almost kind of filling the pot, so let's go with this one. Now, one disadvantage with this is that it's very small. You see, like, the size is so small, and look at the holes on this pot. This is gonna go right through it. So what I do is I put a bit of a mesh at the bottom. So I basically got this. This is like, you know, like a laundry bag for putting any kind of small things into the washing machine. You put it in this kind of meshy bag. So this is what this is. So I just keep cutting it up, and yeah, just put it at the bottom of the pots. Obviously the water goes through it just fine. Again, it's inorganic, so it doesn't kind of rot in the pot. So it works just fine. So let's see how much we'll need. And let's see how much we need. We don't need as much as this, so I'll cut some corners off as well to make it more round. I'm obviously not trying to be super precise here. I mean, it's just gonna go down in the pot. It doesn't matter what it looks like. So let's just take these off. Right, let's plug it in there to cover those holes. Okay, and then I'll just pour some of this, and it will start holding this mesh in place as well. Okay, see, so that's all kind of holding it all in place now. Okay, so let's put this in now. So this one, some of these long roots are just gonna have to sit on that sediment layer. So we'll see, you know, if it kind of starts kind of acting up because it's too much moisture. We'll see how it goes. So we won't put too much moss, I think. I want to keep it quite high up in the pot so that the base of the plant is not covered with media. And I found that, you know, that helped previously as well, because these little things, they seem to be quite sensitive to stem rot. So yeah, I don't want any moisture around the base of the plant. And obviously, you know, roots, they will find their way into the media and they will get hydrated there. But yeah, we don't want the base of the plant to get much kind of moisture and water. So let me just drop these moss pieces in here. So I've kind of, you know, covered about middle or half of the pot is now covered with bark, and I will put a layer of moss, and then we'll go in with the rest of the bark. So I'm kind of using my fingers. I've got this shovel, but I don't need it because the pot is quite small, the orchid is small, and I'm kind of just trying to work the bark into the pot, you know, around the roots and in between the roots. So it's just way too big, so it's easier if I just take a little bit of bark and just kind of put it around the pot. So I think I'll leave it like that. I just saw a big gap in the pot. I'll see if I can take some media down in there. So everything else looks good. So yeah, you can see the base of the pot of the plant is above the media. So I don't want media to touch the base of the plant. But the roots are well covered as well. And since they're so long, they are in the pot. You can see they're kind of, most of them are in the middle of the pot, but you can see one going through here. So it's looking good. I'll put this tag in here. I'll do it this way so that I can see the name through the pot. I like to stick my tags right to the end of the pot so they don't stick out so much and don't kind of steal the attention of the plant, but I can still read the name through the pot because they're all transparent pots, so that works quite well. So there we are. So we've got these two little orchids from Dark Orchid repotted, and that's kind of their 9-month update. So they're looking quite good. They're growing fairly slow, I have to say, but they seem healthy, and that's what's important right now. So we'll see where we get to them, and yeah, I'll keep you guys updated. Hopefully, you know, they grow well and we'll have some blooms off of them eventually, but we'll just have to wait a little longer for that. So thank you guys so much for watching this video and for joining me for this repot. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!